There are sequels that people expect, and there are of course sometimes sequels people almost don't want to touch because the original just felt too darn complete. And Nier Automata is like, it sits in that space, it sits in that very rare space. It told a story that looped, broke itself, rebuilt itself, and quietly asked the player to just let it go. And yet, almost a decade later, that world's calling again. Not loudly, not clearly, but just enough that people are starting to listen. Because the thing is, after years of silence, hints that unmistakable energies, something has shifted, finally. So during the game's 9th anniversary, Square Enix ended a celebration video with a pretty simple message, which was Nier Automata to be continued. No trailer, no gameplay, no announcements, just a sentence, and somehow that was enough to reignite almost everything. Because in the world of Nier, nothing is ever said directly, and that's exactly why people believe this isn't just branding or a spin-off tease. This feels like a beginning of something bigger, something that could very easily become what people are already calling Nier Automata 2. But here's the thing, a sequel to Automata isn't simple, not narratively, not philosophically, not even structurally. Because the original game didn't just tell a story, it questioned the idea of stories. It broke its own format, forced players to replay events from different perspectives, and blurred the line between gameplay and meaning. It asked questions about existence, purpose, consciousness, and identity in a way that most games don't even attempt. So if a sequel is truly in development, the real question isn't what happens next, it's how do you even follow something like that? And if there's one person who thrives in that kind of chaos, it's Yoko Taro. Even though his development process has always been unpredictable, with multiple projects reportedly cancelled over years, he and the producer have made it clear that Nier series isn't finished. Which that alone gives the whole situation weight. This isn't a forgotten franchise being revived, it's an active creative space that's been waiting for the right moment. And now with Automata surpassing 10 million copies sold, that moment might finally be here. Because success changes things. The original Nier was niche. Automata was really not. It turned the series into something global, something people talk about in the same breath as the biggest RPGs in the industry. And when something reaches that level, a continuation becomes less of a risk, more of an inevitability. But Nier Automata 2, if it exists in the way fans expect, won't just be bigger, it has to be stronger, which is the core of Nier. Not scale, not spectacle, but unpredictability. And that technically opens the door to something fascinating, because a sequel doesn't necessarily need to follow 2B or 9S in a direct, traditional way. In fact, it probably shouldn't. The timeline on Nier already fragmented, stretching across thousands of years, multiple perspectives, and even different mediums like stage plays and novels. A sequel could exist anywhere within that framework, before, after, parallel, or even somewhere completely unexpected. And that's where speculation starts to get interesting. There is a growing belief that the next Nier project could actually lean even harder into sci-fi elements. Not just androids and machines, but something more abstract, something that pushes the idea of artificial consciousness even further. The original game already blurred the line between machines and human. A sequel could just erase that line. Like, what if identity itself becomes unstable? What if the player is no longer sure who they're controlling? What if the game starts to question the player directly again, but in a more aggressive, more intrusive way? Because that's what Nier does best. It doesn't tell a story, it pulls you in it. And then it turns around and asks you what you're even doing here. Technically, the possibilities are just exciting. You know, if the project is real and full development, it's pretty much likely being built for current generation hardware, which means a massive jump in presentation. And Automata already had a unique visual style, blending clean sci-fi environments with ruined landscapes and surreal transitions. A sequel could push that contrast much further. More seamless shifts between gameplay styles, more dynamic environments that change in real time, more moments where the game itself feels unstable, like it's rewriting itself as you play. And then there's also the combat. One of the biggest strengths of Automata was its collaboration with Platinum Games, bringing some fast, fluid action into a story-heavy RPG. And if a sequel is happening, there's a pretty strong chance that partnership, or at least that design philosophy, continues. But it won't just be about speed, I'll tell you that. It'll be about expression, different combat styles reflecting different characters, different machines tied to narrative themes, fighting not just as gameplay but as storytelling, because in Nier, everything is storytelling. Even the UI, even the save system, even the ending. And speaking of ending, that's another major piece of the puzzle as well. The original game didn't just have multiple endings, it built its identity around them. Each playthrough revealed new information, perspectives, emotional layers. A sequel will have to evolve that concept, not just repeat it. Maybe it's not about ending this time around. Maybe it's about consequences that carry across playthroughs, or choices that don't reset cleanly, or even a structure where the player's choices permanently alter the experience in ways they can't even undo. That kind of design would fit pretty good with the themes Nier has always explored. And not to mention, there's also the tone. Nier Automata wasn't just sad, it was reflective. It gave players time to sit with its ideas, to think, to question. A sequel can't lose that. It can evolve it, but it can't replace it with something louder or more conventional, per se. Because the quiet moments are what made it hit. The empty spaces and music, the feeling that something important just happened, even if you didn't fully understand it yet. And if rumors are true, if the sequel is being shaped with that same philosophy, then it won't just be another RPG release, it'll be an experience, something that challenges players again. Something that doesn't give easy answers, something that feels like a little uncomfortable in the best way possible. But here's the reality. Nothing about this project's confirmed in a traditional sense right now. No official title, release window, gameplay reveal. It's just a message. Nier Automata to be continued. And somehow, well, that's exactly how it should be. Because Nier never really is about the clarity, it's about curiosity. About the feeling that there's something more beneath the surface. Something unfinished, something waiting. And if that continuation becomes real, if Nier Automata 2 steps out of the shadows and into some full view, then it won't be just a sequel, it'll be a return to one of the most unique voices in gaming. A world that questions everything, a story that refuses to be simple, and a reminder that sometimes, the most powerful experiences aren't the ones that explain themselves. They're the ones that stay with you long after the game's over.